Hello, my loves. Welcome to another episode of Love and Lattes. Victoria, the self-love scientist here, and today I am blessed to be in the presence of, I'm going to say it wrong, Marilyn.
Marlayne.
Marlayne, oh my God.
Yes, it's okay.
I always read this. And that's because we also go by Molly.
Yep, we always go by Molly.
Molly is a dedicated boudoir photographer, a mom of two, and a wife of 23 years. You can tell I'm excited about this conversation because I cannot. We were just having a beautiful pep talk ahead. So let me continue this really great bio. Molly has over 12 years of experience in empowering women to embrace their beauty and sexuality. Molly's also has a personal experience with polycystic ovarian syndrome, aka PCOS. And this experience has profoundly shaped her understanding of self-esteem and body image. Through her own challenges, including self-reflection, weight management, and the complexities of daily life, Molly has developed a deep empathy for women that she works with. Molly has a beautiful passion to create a safe and uplifting environment where women can celebrate their bodies and reclaim their self-worth. Woo!
Yes.
That bio was bomb, except I broke the beginning. But anyway, nonetheless, welcome, Molly. Thank you so much
Thank you. Yes, thanks for having me.
So, Molly, for everyone who might be tuning in, who have not seen the work or have not seen how your passions and seen your journey, can you share a little bit about where this passion came from?
Yes, you're gonna love this. My husband was military. He's since retired, but my journey into photography started just as we were getting ready to leave Wyoming and move overseas to Guam. And over in Guam, I just dabbled in all kinds of photography. Well, I had a really good friend, and just as luck would have it, she had no children. Her husband was deployed. They didn't really have any furnishings. So we turned their 3-bedroom house into a boudoir studio, and we team up together, and we'd have a hair and makeup girl come in, and we would have the women come in. We'd do it maybe once a month. She would do 5 sessions on Saturday. I would do 5 on Sunday. I would assist her. She would assist me. We'd edit our own and be done. Our styles were very similar. And I just loved the feeling. And when we would post on our pages, it would sell out in 2 minutes flat. So it was gaining a lot of popularity. And this is kind of back when boudoir was just, I don't want to say the glamour shots of the day. Back in the day, they'd wear the big feather boas and the leather jacket and go into the mall and get their pictures done. This was definitely something a little more sensual and sexual. And a lot of women were doing it for their partners. And it just kind of took off from there, and I started doing more and more. We then moved to North Dakota, and then we moved to England. And when we moved to England, the market was very saturated with just regular photography. And I thought, I'm in a whole nother country. How is this even going to work? And my husband came home one day and he said, you light up incredibly when you have boudoir sessions. I know what kind of session you had when you come home, because you're on cloud 9 after every boudoir session you do. He's like, why don't you just stick with boudoir while you're here? And I was like, oh, I've never just zoned in on one thing. And I did it, and I opened a studio and had a hair and makeup artist, and I absolutely loved it. And then we moved to Virginia, and carried it over here, and it's way more personalized now because I bring 12 years of expertise. You get hair and makeup, you get pampered. I provide the lingerie, 100% directing, coaching, posing. You get to view all your images same day. So it's very much catered. And a lot of women will get very nervous and say, well, I'm a size 16. I can't. I have photographed a 00 to a size 26. Every shape, size, height, everything in between. And it is absolutely, other than having my husband and my children, one of the best things I've ever done. And I think just coming up and creating my own business, empowering them, has empowered me. And I just have felt like I want to reach out and do more in the community. So we started doing a feminine hygiene product drive, because I saw a video one evening about a homeless woman that didn't have like access to Motrin or a heating pad or a hot shower. And I was like, oh my God, that's horrible. I know how horrible I feel in the luxury of my home and to have to go out and live in the streets or not, have a home and have to deal with that. So we geared up and the women in our group loved it. We had women from England, Japan, Germany sending over products to take to these homeless shelters. And so we had so much. We had to have 5 people come in and like load everything up and go. And we have been doing that every year. We have been more recently working with Empower House when we do that. So it's been very exciting as well.
That's amazing. I
Yeah.
didn't know that last part about you tapping into
Yeah.
the community. That's
Yeah.
such a badass. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I
Wow.
love it.
You made a really good comment earlier when you're working with clients and they say, "Oh, I'm doing this experience for my partner." And I'm curious to see, have you noticed any clients that come in and they're like, "This is solely for myself"?
Oh, yeah, more and more, because I do preach that a lot. I'm like, you might say it's for your significant other. However, you will find that this is more for yourself. And I've had women that have come back 7, 8 times. And they said it's like therapy for them. And I've had several clients that do that. I've had women that will stop me in the grocery store and say, oh, I gave my husband the book. And, I think a lot of it is too misunderstanding. Like, I can't believe my wife would do that. And she's like, he didn't seem as excited about it as I was. And I'm like, well, because it's for you. It's not for him. It's for you. So, and that's the key thing. We could go down a whole rabbit hole with this for sure.
Oh no, I completely agree. My first boudoir experience, I remember it was an opportunity, it was a model call, and I was like, yeah, I'll try it. It was the first time I was told, like, feel sexy, imagine you're with your partner. And I felt completely lost, completely disconnected. However, when I got the products, in my mind, it was supposed to be a gift for them, but I was like, I want this.
Yeah,
I feel so like just looking at the photos. That was the first time I noticed how beautiful I was. And
right.
it's such a very it was a eye-opening experience because again, first time in front of the camera, I felt super awkward. And I was,
Yeah,
what does sexy mean? What does it mean to feel sexy? Or like you said, the tapping into like sensuality. And 2 years later, I went to this same photographer, and of course, like from that process, I went from being in a marriage to divorce. And she said my energy and the way I showed up in front of the camera was night and day. She's like, you completely owned it. You were, in quotes, making love to the camera. And I was like, well, these products are for me.
yeah.
It's just for moi.
Yeah, I love that so much for you. I think it's such a thing to realize that it's okay. And I feel like the newer generations are getting it because some women that I have that come in that are in their 40s or 50s, they'll say, oh, I told my mom I was doing this. And she's like, oh, why would you ever want to do that? Because it was just so taboo then. You don't do that. You don't do that kind of stuff. So I think a lot of it is breaking the way that women are looked at and their sensuality and their sexuality is looked at. I think it's just, it's people are understanding it better now. We're talking about it more.
I,
So,
I agree. I think it's becoming less of like, oh, when you do boudoir, it's like instead of it being, you look at it and yes, stunning, sexy, sensual. However, the right eyes will look at it and see something more in depth, like the sensuality of her, the essence of that woman.
right, right.
Um, and I'm gonna slightly like go back to where you started. What was it like? What is it about boudoir that you're like, this is my piece? You know, because there are different types of photographers out there, but for you, like I've seen your work, I've seen the way you engage with your community, and it's what is it about the boudoir experience and helping women create this experience? Like, what is it? Like, what does that come back? How does that come back for you?
So empowering, this is so cliche, but empowered women empower women. And
Mhm.
I stand behind that 100%. I think that when you can feel good about yourself, that carries everywhere you go. It goes to your home, it goes to your girlfriends, it goes to your community. And I tell women all the time, we like are the backbone of so much. We take care of so much. We're taking care of our, maybe our parents, our girlfriends, our significant others, if we have children. And a lot of times we put ourselves on the back burner. And when you can, and so many women look at images of themselves and they don't like it. So when they can look at an image and not only like it, but love it and feel sexy and confident, man, that's, I don't think I always used to say, if I didn't need to pay bills, I wouldn't even charge for this, because seeing how a woman walks out of my studio, I literally could cry thinking about it, because it's so absolutely beautiful to me. And something about a woman is just so like amazing. And just to have her feel that, even for just a little while, it just warms my heart. I love it. I just am absolutely in love with what I do.
Yes. And everyone listening, if there's one thing you can walk away from this conversation, it's empowered women empower women.
Absolutely.
Yes. Mic drop. I think we can call it.
Yeah.
This is amazing. And like, now that I think about it, did you experience boudoir before you gave it to your clients yourself?
Yes, I very much practice what you preach. I'm not going to ask my clients to be vulnerable and come into a situation, and if I'm not going to do it myself. So, and God bless my makeup artists. They're always coming in and, they'll just show up and be like, okay, we're taking your pictures. Or I have girlfriends that will do it. I have had it done professionally before and I absolutely loved it. And then about every few years, I'll have it done again. And I love it. And now I'm just more into I will go and take photos of myself. I'll just set up, the camera on video, which I tell all the women, do this. Just, even if you're not feeling comfortable, put on something that makes you feel sexy, even if it's just a sweater or, a t-shirt, whatever. Put your phone down, press record, and then just kind of hold your pose for a few seconds, kind of move around, giggle, laugh, and then go back and watch it. And if you see one that catches your eye, just screenshot it. And I feel like doing those kind of exercises really can help you like start to feel more comfortable, in your own skin and your sexuality.
I definitely would say, definitely get the camera up. This is something you can share with the world. It's also something you can keep to yourself. And
exactly.
Baby steps, as always. Have you always felt like this empowered for yourself, or was there a moment where you're like, I need to start implementing this and creating
No,
that?
I think actually doing this is what has empowered me so much. I mean, I get it. There's, everybody has things about themselves that they don't particularly like, and they get down on themselves sometimes. But I feel like for every negative thought, try and have at least 2 positive thoughts, because I am a firm believer. Listen, if you've got a lot of negativity, if you're on social media a lot, start muting. You don't have to like delete people. Start muting that stuff, and then start following like boss babe quotes or confident women quotes or mindfulness, and when your newsfeed gets full of that and you're seeing that constantly, it is something that just clicks. And when you start seeing that, I feel like you really start implementing. I've done that for myself. And I just really think helping all of these women and working with them has made me realize, man, it's just one thing in common is like, I didn't even notice these women come in and they're beautiful to me. And I'm just like, I don't even see that. And sometimes they're like, oh, you're just being nice. It's your job. And I'm like, no, you will never hear an ungenuine comment come out of my mouth. I won't make something up. And women always leave saying that. I felt like I spent the day with my friends, my 2 best friends. And I'm like, that's how it should feel. It feels good to have also 2 women on you going, God, you're such a babe. Look at you. You're a fucking smoke show, That feels great.
That's exactly how the feed should be.
Yeah.
That's one of the best feelings in the world, to receive these messages, whether it's in person or socially, where people are we're constantly encouraging each other.
Yes. Yes.
And I was thinking about what you said earlier when you said just they come into the session, they're like, you're beautiful. And they're like, this is part of your job. You're just being nice. And I feel like that's a statement that we're facing right now in like modern day, like society and relationships where I've made it almost like a mission for myself every day that I will like, I'm walking down the city. And if I see someone who I admire their outfit, the way they look or the way they're dressed, I'll compliment them. And I can't tell you how often it either surprises them or, you know, it'll be like a gracious, like, well, thank you. And I've noticed that like some for women, it's going to be the thank you or the what this, and then it's reciprocated of, well, you look beautiful. And
Yeah.
I've even done it with men. I've gone up to men at cafes and I'm like, you look very handsome today. And it changes their energy. And they're like, thank you so much.
Yes.
What do you think from that? And especially with women coming into your studio who have this hard time being vulnerable and like, you know, taking their clothes off, wearing lingerie or receiving those positive affirmations. What do you think is keeping them from receiving that, like from being like open to this?
I think it's just the negative committee in their head. That's what I always say. It's that negative committee in your head that tells you you can't do this. You can do it. We're here to coach you. We're here to help you. And I'm known for doing a cackle, and it sounds absolutely atrocious, but it always shocks them. And then they have this amazing natural laugh. And then they always love it. They love those when I get those real natural laughs. They love it. They're like, you know, boudoirs. I'm like, boudoir isn't supposed to be anything. Boudoir is what makes you feel sexy. That is what boudoir is. You can be in a potato sack, but if you feel sexy, that is boudoir. It is a feeling that makes us, you know, how you feel. That's what it is to me. So
That's phenomenal. And when you said potato sack, you've seen the Marilyn Monroe in the potato sack, right? Like,
yes.
wait, if she could make that look good, and she was very confident in her body, she
Yeah.
didn't have a six-pack abs or anything like that. She was very happy with her feminine, you know, belly and everything else, and she rocked that the potato.
She did. Yeah. Yeah. I was a huge Marilyn Monroe fan growing up. I had posters of her all over my bedroom. I love that woman. So, yeah.
She's gorgeous. I like her, and I love Elizabeth Taylor
Oh,
and
yes.
Audrey Hepburn. Just
Yes. Classic queens right there. I love it.
so I think I've had the pleasure to watch like your journey, especially this summer with traveling. But what I have noticed just being into relationships and intimacy, I see the way your partner, your husband shows up in like your pictures, and I feel like he's super supportive and like you're almost like the perfect like you're like couple goals because you're both very like beautiful human beings. And I would
Thank
like to know
you.
like, what that's been like and how does this work for the women who are like, how do I get this, you know, man to support me in my work? What's that like to be a power couple?
Well, you know, God sure blessed me with him. I say that. I don't know what I did to deserve him, and he'll say the same thing about me. But we're best friends. We actually only dated for 3 months. And then September 11th happened. He was in the military, and he's like, I gotta leave. So we got married at 9:30 at night in our living room. My friend's dad married us, and he left a week later, and he was gone for 6 months, which was unheard of at the time for the Air Force. And we both thought, oh my God, what did we do? But it's 23 years next month that we've been married, and, you know, having kids and traveling, and his job in the military, he is a federal agent. So he was gone a lot, working on any felony level crimes in the military. And so he had crazy hours, and sometimes he'd be gone for days at a time. And he's just always been so supportive. And I've always said, we renewed our vows in Guam because it was so beautiful there since we didn't have a big wedding. And the chaplain that renewed our vows said at our vow renewal, we never go to bed without saying, I love you. We never go to bed angry. And we never hang up the phone without saying, I love you. Those are just little things. But I swear, as that man gets older, he gets better because he is my number one supporter and I'm his. And I found recently more just trying to, and a lot, like I said, we go down a rabbit hole with this, but just like trauma for me growing up. Um, he was the first person I ever told about that. And he's always been so understanding. And, you know, I finally am not in a flight or fight mode anymore in the last few years. And now I'm able to just rest. And he doesn't get on me. If I don't have a busy week and I'm just wanting to lay in bed, he doesn't say anything. If it's 5 o'clock and it's time for dinner to start, he'll do it. But I can't tell you how much that has healed my soul to the depths these last few years with him just being present and allowing me to just rest from having years of just anxiety and flight or fight mode in my body. And it's been amazing. Like, he's truly my best friend. I don't know, we just work.
That's
So yeah.
No, you made a really good, I think what you said earlier was very special. The fact that you can be in a relationship without feeling that fight or flight response. And I've noticed something that, you know, no matter the levels of trauma or experiences you face, like there could be something that keeps us in that state, which we may or may not be aware of, which I think you see clients as well, like when they have to become vulnerable in front of a camera or tap into something that's quote, you know, that makes you say like, you know, time to feel sexy. And they're like, I don't know about this, you know, it's scary. And
It is, yeah. And we build it up because you know, they can't look at themselves when they're getting hair and makeup done. And we got music going and we're hyping them up. And then we do the reveal and they look at themselves and they're like, oh, and then we put lingerie and we're like, oh, damn girl. And then they're just like, oh my God, I feel on top of the world here, you know? So it definitely, yeah, I don't know. It's great. I love it.
yeah, I think surrounding yourself with people who will allow you to be in your most vulnerable, or
Mm-hmm.
like you said, you know, as your partner does, like if you could be super sexy and you're with me, but when I'm like super like in the sweatpants, in bed, like I need to rest up and you still love me here, like this is a great duo.
Right. And I think communication is a thing because a thing that we've been going through recently is I'm like, and I'll tell him like, I need more of this from you. I need more recently. I just, you know, I need you to touch me more. I need you to, you're walking by me, grab my ass, you know, whatever. And he's been great about it. He's been great. I'm just like, right now I'm in the moment of, I just want to know that you want me, you know? And he's like, I do. And but I'm a person, I need to see the action follow through. So it's been great because he's been doing a really good job at that. And I feel like we're in our 20s again. And it's nice. It's nice because we're able to go out. We try to make it a point to go on dates a lot. And even if we can't, you know, we built this beautiful home. Well, October will be 2 years ago we moved in, and we have so much to do out here. And so we'll sit out, like last night we sat out by the fireplace and I had my red wine and he built a bar downstairs and he's got his kegerator. So he threw on some Mae West and we shared a cigar and we just sat out by the fire and just, you know, listen to music. And it was amazing. I love it. Or sometimes we'll take the utility vehicle and drive down to the Rappahannock because it's at the back of our property and we'll just get in the water together and hang out. And I mean, just really nice, just that's why we love our property. We wanted a place that we didn't need a vacation from, where we could go to different areas of the house and just hang out together. And it's kind of all come full circle. So I love it.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
You had me like grinning ear to ear the moment you said, and now I just ask, or you say like, I need X, Y, and Z. And I think it's actually quite powerful in terms of communication with not just like your partners, but like also with your bosses, your friends, your siblings.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, it's like, you know, hey, did you ask for the things you wanted? Because how can your person or people in your life know this is what you are needing right now without saying something? So that's
Correct. And that's a big thing I've been working on, even with my best girlfriend. You know, there's been a lot. She got she's total boss babe. So she has a new job and she works a lot. And I'm trying to be mindful of that. But sometimes I'll call her up and I'm like, hey, I miss us. We really need to, when can we make this work? And she knows, but she also has 7 kids and a husband, 3 dogs, 5 cats, 25 chickens. So I really don't want to take away too much, from her because she's so busy everywhere. But I've just found recently in the last few years, just speak up for it. And the people that are worth it in your life, they'll make it happen. The people that are meant to be there, they'll make it happen and it'll work out.
Hmm. Ladies and gentlemen, this is another gold nugget by Molly. We got empower women, and then just just ask for it. And the people who love you, the people who respect you and honor you at your
Yeah.
worst best are gonna come through. I promise. Like I've seen it in my divorce, I've seen it in my clients, and I've seen it in my relationships and friendships, even like with your girlfriend who's the ultimate boss babe. I have a friend of mine ever since I moved to DC, and she'll call me like, I really would love to hang out. And I'm like, I'm burnt. I
Yeah.
cannot show up in the way that you deserve. I cannot show up in the way that I want to be with you. However, it's coming. And the other day we made plans for something in the fall. And so I'm really excited that we're going to intentionally put this into play. But because like she's a mom, she's also got this thing for the community going. And then she knows I'm in the city working, and everything works out eventually. We just have to know that love is patient and to be kind.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Amazing.
Yes.
I know we're getting up in our time. Is there any advice you would have for women who are looking to empower themselves, perhaps with the camera, or even just wanting to feel more empowered in their bodies?
Just be kind to yourselves, women. We go through so much. Just give yourself grace. I think that's the biggest thing. And I'm really a believer too. If you can just, I swear by it, because my son once had a counselor that said when he was little, he would say terrible things to himself, like, I'm not a smart boy, I'm a dumb boy, I'm not a handsome boy, I'm an ugly boy. He was just going through a lot of stuff when he was in like 2nd grade. So his therapist said, have him look in the mirror and say, I love you. And he couldn't hardly even say that, let alone look in the mirror. And I would sit with him and we would say it to ourselves in the mirror. And I tell you what, that was within 2 weeks, the kid was looking at himself. And I mean, he's almost 17 now and he's like, yeah, I look good. So, he doesn't, it only took a few weeks. And to see that change in him was astounding. And I always tell people, like, just do little things like that. Be mindful of what you're doing, but put more positivity into your life. And like you said, little things like complimenting other people, that does your heart so good because then they carry it forward. Everything we do has a domino effect. And I just believe if we put more positivity and just show a little bit of grace and empathy towards people, you never know what people are going through. But I think women, just try and look at yourself in the mirror. Even something like taking a hot bubble bath, make yourself feel a little bit better. But my biggest thing is just put that camera down if you can and just record yourself. If you hate it, then just delete it and try again later. It doesn't mean that, how many of us have started something or like started a new job, or when we learned to ride a bike, we didn't get it right away. It takes time, and it takes practice. Just show yourself grace and you'll get there.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
And yes, I agree. The mirror talk is a definite, like, that's a powerful tool. I learned that technique a few years ago in a training, and I remember thinking it was so silly, like, oh yeah, no problem. And I stand in front of the mirror, and when I said I loved you, I burst into tears.
Yeah, it's something. It really is.
So yes, everyone try this out for yourself, because you'll be surprised. You might experience a plethora of emotions, and then it does get easier as you do it every day. Just for a moment, like flirting with yourself, complimenting. And as Molly said, if one part comes up and it's like, I'm feeling, I don't really like, what's something that, like we have stretch marks, inside of our legs and the sides of our bodies. Maybe that's not your favorite. However, turn to the side and you're like, but my booty looks great.
Yes.
Or my eyes are bright, my teeth, my smile, something like that. because the more you feed yourself that way, the better and more empowered you will become.
Absolutely. And I think the best, you're your longest person. You're the one that's going to be by your side the longest. And so you need to take care of her, you know? And it's good to just like look at yourself and just say, you know, self-talk, flirt with yourself, just like you said. There's nothing wrong with that. People joke that I'm the queen of selfies because I'll see like my profile picture changes all the time. And I try not to do that, but I'm like, nah, fuck them. You know, if they don't like it, it's just whatever. I feel good. I'm going to do it. I don't care.
Yes. Yes.
So
Thank you for
it is.
saying that.
Yeah. Yeah. If people don't like it, oh well, life's too short. If it makes me feel good and I'm not hurting anyone or myself, it's what it is. So
Yes.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, Molly, you're so full of gold.
Um,
I hope you know.
feel.
I hope you know that. Thank you so much for being on the
Yeah.
podcast today. And everyone, I'm going to share some of Molly's links and her websites if you want to check out her work. It'll have all the information there. Yeah, and this has been such a beautiful and inspiring conversation. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me.